Hello YouTube makeup lovers, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to Be Lounge Makeup, I really hope that you guys stick around and subscribe for more videos. So I'm here today with a makeup tutorial for you guys. It has been a really long time since I have done a tutorial. It's not really something that I do all too often here on my channel, but I have changed the way that I have been doing my makeup these past couple years, and it's been a while since I've shared those little changes with you. I mean, I've shared minor little updates here and there when I do other videos, but I haven't really done a full-on makeup tutorial. So today, that is exactly what I wanted to do for you. I'm going to share exactly how I like to do my makeup. This is pretty much my current routine. It's what I would do when I am going to do my makeup, whether it's for a daytime event, for a nighttime event, even if I went, you know, to work. I mean, there are a lot of steps and a lot of different products, but I feel like it's more steps, but it's a little bit less makeup that I apply, and it also just looks more, you know, I guess it looks more youthful or more healthy and just more natural. I do use a lot of cream products. That's like a big change that I've done in my beauty routine already for a few years. And I find that with age, the type of makeup that I use has definitely changed, and the techniques that I do have definitely changed. So let's go ahead and get started with my go-to makeup routine. I will also share with you guys a lot of the Holy Grail products that I like to use in the different categories. Today I will be using some products that are a little bit more new to my collection, but that I am already loving. So I do want to just share with you guys the new products that I haven't spoken about on my channel in the past, but I do also mention those products that are my go-to. So while the products do change a lot, just because I like trying new things, the routine and the technique will usually stay the same, and this is pretty much my go-to way of applying makeup. So we better get started with my go-to makeup routine. So my skin is pretty much already prepped. I have done my full skincare routine for the morning. I have done some vitamin C, I have moisturized, I've also added some sunscreen. So I'm ready to start the makeup. And the very first thing I'm gonna do is apply a primer. And I have been really enjoying this Hydrating Skinglass Energizing and Hydrating Primer Serum from Natasha Denona. It's just a new one that I've been loving, and it just makes you feel so nice and radiant, and I really do like it under my foundation. So I'm gonna start off with that. It also smells kind of nice. It just feels really, really silky. I like to apply it here around the nose, because that's where you have, like, sometimes the foundation likes to seep in. Make sure I'm just nice and hydrated and prepped and ready to go for the makeup. So the foundation I'm going to be using today is from Chanel, and this is the Water Fresh Complexion Touch. It is this one right here. It is such a unique type of foundation. You just kind of see like little tiny little balls of foundation, and this one I kind of like to apply it on my hand first, mix it in, and then I go to the face with a brush. I've really been liking it. I also like the packaging. It's a nice slim foundation, and this is just one of the ones that I have been loving a lot. There are some go-tos that I did want to share, like the Givenchy, the Prisme Libre is another one of my go-tos right now. The Fenty Beauty Skin Tint is also really, really good. This is the Eaze Drop one. And then I've also really been enjoying the new Patrick Ta one. That one is really, really good. It's the one that comes like this in kind of like a palette, but I'm gonna use today the Chanel one just because it's a fairly new one to me, and it's kind of really cool, and it's a little bit unique to use. And I was a lot more into doing very like my eyes. I was very focused on doing my eye makeup, and I would just kind of always want to do the eyes first, just because I would do, I guess, a more intense eye look, whether it was using neutrals or if I wanted to add any colors. I was a little bit more intense with my eyes, so I would always do my eyes first just so that I wouldn't get any fallout on my foundation. And now, since my eye looks have been a little bit more simple than usual, I just already start with my face, and I don't do my eyes first that much unless I'm doing like a major eye look that I might have fallout. If I'm going out, or if I want to do something dark, then I will start with my eyes. But for the most part lately, I feel like my go-to type of way to apply my makeup is starting with the face and the complexion first. This is what it looks like when I apply it to my hand, and I just pretty much like to mix it in. It looks pretty strange, but I just like to mix it in because it doesn't look, you know, it looks a little bit pearly, and then like it hasn't been blended well together, so it does look a little bit funky, but then it just like transforms on your skin like suddenly. It's just like a very unique foundation. So I'm gonna add the rest to my face just because I don't want to waste what I have on my hand. And I kind of sometimes I even start putting it on with my hands just to make sure that that just like blends in well. And the coverage is really, really unique too. Then I'm gonna take this Huda Beauty brush. This one is the Face Buff and Blend. Really been loving it, and I'm gonna use this mirror because I'm kind of using the viewfinder. And I'm just gonna buff it in. Next, I apply concealer, and my concealer routine really hasn't changed all that much. Right now, I am applying some eye cream, and this eye cream I've been using for like over 10 years. This is the Fresh Creme Ancienne eye cream, and it is just so good, and it's the only one that I have used in many years. Then I go in with a corrector, and this is the Eve Pearl Salmon Concealer in the shade Medium. Again, this is another one that I have been using for years. I have yet to find a corrector, and I've tried to find others that can compete with this one. So some of my go-to concealers are definitely, you know, the Huda Beauty. This is the Faux Filter Concealer. This is a really good concealer. I also still love the Dior, the Forever Skin Correct. The Laura Mercier, this is the Flawless Fusion Concealer, is also really good. I use this one for a long time, and I still do. And then of course the Hourglass one is really good too. This is the Vanish one. My chair is driving me crazy. It is like making so much noise. You hear that? That's the chair. Anytime I move, it makes that noise. Okay, so the concealer that I am going to use is one that is a little bit more new to my makeup collection, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. And in this one, I'm using shade 4.5. It took me a while to find a good shade. So far, I'm loving it, so I wanted to test it out. And I'll make sure to, all the other ones that I, you know, shared that I'm loving, I'll also write them down below, and I'll also add the color that I use in case you guys, you know, it helps you out picking your color. I'll let you guys know which are the ones that I use, because sometimes I'll forget to say it in the video. The way I apply concealer has also changed a lot. Whereas before I would do the whole triangle thing, and you know, that kind of has changed a little bit. And I also feel that as I get older, I really have changed the way that I apply makeup, and definitely less is what I tend to do than what I used to do before. So it has changed. I do apply a little bit just to brighten the forehead, a little bit on the chin. I can even put some here, right at the top of the lip. And then, I mean, this brush is the best, and this is an oldie but a goodie. This is the It Cosmetics. This is the Heavenly Luxe Complexion brush, the number 7. It's like a double-ended brush, so you can use a smaller end to kind of just like make sure that everything goes where you want it to go, just in this under eye area. And then I kind of use the other side as well, just to make sure that it's all nicely buffed in. And then again, I go in with a beauty blender. I try to just like pat it. I don't like, you know, rub to one area. I just pat. And I look up, make sure that there's no creasing. On the skin, I'm a little bit less, you know, less picky. Next, I go in with setting powder, and the two that I've always used are definitely the Laura Mercier. This is a translucent setting powder, and I've also really always liked the La Mer one. Those are the two that I've been using already for many years, but I recently just started using this one from Givenchy, and this is the Prisme Libre in the rose color number 3. So it is a pink powder. Before I go in with the setting powder, I do go back in and make sure that I have no creasing under the eye. I apply it with a smaller type of brush. I don't go in with the beauty blender like if I'm gonna majorly bake under the eyes. I just apply a very little amount of powder. Like tiny amount. And then I take whatever I have left on the lid. I tap it on the lid always. And I do apply some on the eyelid. And when I meant lid earlier, I meant like the lid of the powder. You know? So it's not like excess. One of the things I find that are the biggest difference in how I apply makeup now is like there are more steps added, because now I always use cream products and I always set that cream product with a powder product. So I'll use like a cream contour, a cream highlighter, a cream blush, and then I will add a powder highlighter, powder brush, and powder bronzer over it just to make sure that it lasts all day. So it is added steps, but I feel like it just looks a lot more natural. So I am gonna apply a cream bronzer. There are a few that I really, really love. One of the ones I'm really enjoying is the Charlotte Tilbury one. This is the Beautiful Skin Sun Kiss Glow Bronzer, and this one I use a shade light. I can probably also get away with the medium. I also really like the Patrick Ta one, the one that has, you know, the powder bronzer contour, and then it also has the cream contour. This one is really, really great also for travel. I love it because this one is more cool toned and then the powder is a little bit more warm toned, which is perfect for me. This one is She Sculpted. I mean, of course, Tom Ford is a really, really good one as well. That's one that I like a lot, which is this one. This is the Intensify 0.5. The only thing with this one is that I only use this product and I don't really use this one that much. It's just a little bit of a waste. And the Anastasia cream bronzer, this is in the shade Amber. And then of course the Huda Beauty, the Tantour, I use this one in the shade Fair. But one that I'm really enjoying now, which is the one that I am going to use, is by Makeup by Mario. It's this one right here, and this is actually called the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer, and this is in the shade Light Medium. Really liking this one. It's very sheer, it blends in really nicely. I kind of like to use it as a cream bronzer type of contour, you know, just a little bit of both. I don't really have to use one for contouring and one for bronzing. I can, but for on a daily basis or my go-to makeup look, I pretty much just pick one and stick to one. I'm gonna be using another brush from Huda Beauty. Really enjoying these brushes. This is the Sculpt and Shade brush. Also, it has the two sides, and I think it's just perfect to apply, you know, the contour. Sometimes I go in with, if it's like a very dark contour, I'll go in with like the thin one and then blend it in. But for this one, you really just don't have to be so neat and so precise, just because it just blends so nicely. So I kind of just start applying it where I would apply my bronzer. Next, I'm gonna go in with a cream blush, and I'm gonna use this one from Persona Cosmetics, which is like a really beautiful, bright Barbie pink type of color, and this is in the color Bubble. And this I'm just gonna apply directly to kind of like my cheeks, but a little bit higher up. Just kind of like lifts it up too much. I remember before I would always more apply it to right the apples of my cheek, but I've kind of changed that a little bit, and I kind of just go up a bit. I even like to pat a little bit on my nose, very little. Adds a nice little touch and gives you like a nice healthy pinky tone. And it just kind of ties in the rest of the makeup to your face. This I just kind of go in with my fingers. You can also do this with a beauty blender or a brush, but I tend to just like to use my fingers for the blush. I have so many favorites of different cream blushes that I use, which I can't mention in this video, but I did do one where I do share my favorite cream blushes, so I'm gonna go ahead and link that video down below in case you guys wanna check it out, because there I mention all the cream blushes that I'm currently loving. After the blush, I do like to go in with some sort of cream highlighter. Sometimes I'll use like these. These are a little bit more Vavavoom from Iconic Beauty. These are the illuminators. This is like the original shade. I also have one from Natasha Denona that comes in a stick. I also really like the hourglass ones, like the flash sticks I believe they're called. But today I'm gonna go in with this one from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the Hollywood Beauty Light Wand Easy Highlighter. This is a really good one. It's just such a really pretty color. This is in the shade Spotlight. My only problem with this is that it is not a cheap highlighter, and it just comes so little in this packaging. Like, you use it a couple times and the tube already feels pretty empty. And then this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and apply it in this area right here. You just kind of squish it and apply with a sponge. I also do a little bit in the forehead. And I just like to apply it in those areas of the face and make sure that you lock it, because you really need to protect this product. It's not cheap. So this is already pretty much all the cream products that I am going to use. For applying face powder, I love this Hourglass. Also is a dual-ended brush. I just love it to apply powder because it's very, you know, it's nice and fluffy, doesn't apply too much powder. That's another thing that I find I change a lot. I used to always like to powder myself up a lot, and now I just kind of like sweep it on. The ones that I really like are the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. I use shade number 2. And then I'm also really liking the Kosas Cloud Set Powder. And in this one, I have the shade Breezy, which is like this. It's kind of like a baked type of powder, but it's very good. And I don't apply it everywhere, and I like to just kind of like pat my brush onto the product. And I just kind of go over the areas where I could technically, you know, maybe get a little oily throughout the day. It's just like what I want this area to last a lot. And then I just kind of do a little sweep, but I haven't really dipped it again around the cheek area. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's just very little with this fluffy side of the brush. Next, I go in with bronzer, and I have a few that I like. Bronzer is like a step that I have loved. I think it's like the very first makeup product that I fell in love with was bronzer. It was the Guerlain Terracotta one, and now I just really love it. I like this one from Iconic London. This one is in the shade medium. This is just the ultimate bronzing powder from Iconic London. I still love my Tantastic from Marc Jacobs, the Omega bronzer. I believe this is already like sold out and gone, and it is just such a good one. And then another favorite of mine that I love is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzer. This is pretty much the one that I'm using the most now, and in this one I use shade number 2. My go-to bronzer brush is from the brand Sigma. This is the soft angled contour brush, and then this one I just kind of like apply like this. Something I always do is I take this Morphe brush. This is from the Jaclyn Hill collection. This is a JH30. I apply this into the bronzer, and this is pretty much the first powder, well, after the setting powder, like the first color powder that I apply on my lid. So I kind of always begin an eye look with a little bit of bronzer on the crease. Next, I go in with some eyeshadow palettes, and I mean, I love Natasha Denona palettes. Some of my favorites are her palettes. I love the Glam palette is one of them. I also like the Biba and the Gold. I feel like my #1 favorite palette is definitely the Persona Cosmetics palette, and this is the original Identity palette. This is like my go-to, like if I go on a trip and I just want to take one palette, it'll probably be this one. And I recently got this one from the brand Ilia. This is the Warm Nude palette, and I'm just very simple with the eyeshadows that I use. So I think this one will be a really good one. This is one I'm gonna actually use today because I've never shared it or used it on my channel before. And I just kind of want to share some different products that I'm using, but the technique and the type of makeup that I like to do pretty much just stays the same. It's just the products just change here and there. So I'm pretty much gonna take this color right here and also just apply it to the crease again, just to add a little bit of that warmer tone. So I kind of have like this thing now where I like to apply a more warm tone to the crease, but then the color I apply on my lid, I like it to be a little bit more cool toned. Then I'm gonna go in with this like burgundy one right here. Sometimes I like mix them up just to, you know, not make it not so dark. And then I tap off the excess. But I mean, it's just so easy and simple. And I still just use this poofy brush. If I were to go in with like something a little bit darker, or I'm going out and I want it to be a little bit more precise, I will use like a slimmer, smaller brush just so that I don't make a mess. Going back in a little bit with the burgundy. I kind of wish this palette had a mirror. It doesn't. I always use a cream or some sort of liquid eyeshadow on the lid. My number one go-to has always been the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize in the shade Oyster Pearl. It is a beautiful, you know, like taupe type brown color. And I recently just got this Ilia one. This is in the shade Fresco, which I'm really liking. I actually had posted something on my Instagram the other day where I was testing it out and I really like it. So since I've shared the Charlotte Tilbury one here a lot, let me go in with this Ilia one, and it just applies so nice and smooth and easily. It kind of looks a little bit matte at the beginning, but then it turns into that nice little metallic type of color. And I hope I'm focused, because you know how it is with these videos. I do one eye at a time, then I kind of pat it down. I kind of just blend around the crease to make sure that there's no really harsh edges. Something else I like to do sometimes, I don't do it always, but I will apply a nice, you know, powder eyeshadow over the liquid just so that it lasts a lot longer. And my go-to one is this one from the Persona palette. This is in the shade Seductive. That is like my favorite eyeshadow ever. I hope that they make them like single, because every time I run out of that, I have to buy a whole new palette. But it's just such a great, perfect shade. And it's the perfect type of shimmery taupe color that I like. So I am gonna press this on the color just to like make it last a lot longer. And always with the finger. I never use a brush to do this step. This next step I have been doing in my routine for so many years, and it is just to apply the shade Nylon from MAC with this little brush. This brush is from the Jaclyn Hill collection, also the JH39. And I just take a little bit of this color right here and apply it in the inner corner. It just brightens the inner corner so much. I'm very into like the more bright-eyed type of look. I'm gonna go ahead and apply lip balm. I don't know why I didn't do this at the beginning. It's always good to do it at the beginning because that way they're nice and hydrated by the time you apply your lipstick. For eyeliner, I'm gonna go ahead and apply this kind of like goldish type of tone on the lower lash line. This is from ColourPop in the shade Dirty Talk. I like a lot of NYX eye pencils. My go-to is really from Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On eyeliner, but it's in the Lannister Gold, which was like a special edition that came out with the Game of Thrones collection. And that one I love so much, but it's been discontinued. So I've been trying to find others that I really like. This came like in a vault from ColourPop, like all these different eyeliners. My go-to brow product is from the brand Kosas, and it's this one right here. This one I've really been loving. It is the Brow Pop, and in this one I use the shade, is it here? Taupe. And then I also use the matching little, like the gel that goes on your eyes just to make sure that everything sticks and stays put throughout the day. I'm not really like a brow person that I need to have my brows done. I mean, I do like to just fill them in very naturally, but I think I have pretty decent brows. I never went through the phase that I like plucked them when I was younger. So I kind of just like to keep them fairly natural, but I do find myself filling them in, definitely. for eyeliner, I have two go-to eyeliners. The first one is the Fenty Beauty, the Fly Liner. I think this one is amazing. I think it's pretty much one of the best. It's so easy to do the little wing. And then of course the Tom Ford, this is the dual-sided eye pencil. This is the eye defining pen, which is really, really good as well. It has a very nice little precise tip. Just like these, it's just so good. I mean, these are the best. The Fly Liner comes in a really cool brown color. I think it's a very unique brown. And then I actually also do like the Benefit, the roller liner. My only problem with this one is that it dries out really, really fast, but it is a really good, also is a really good eyeliner. And I like it. Also very easy to do a wing liner. It comes in a really pretty brown color too. So it's not very common to find a really good brown. Usually the browns that they make are very, it's almost like black, and these are true brown colors. Some of them are more like a reddish brown, a more chocolatey brown, and that's what I like. Today I'm actually gonna use this one from Rihanna, the Fly Liner in the shade Truffle, in Big Truffle it's actually called. So now it's time for mascara, and a mascara that I'm really enjoying, that's fairly new to me, but I'm really liking. It's kind of become my go-to, is this one from Lancome. This is the Lash Idole. This one is a really, really great mascara. It has a really nice wand, and this is the one that I've been using. I still love the Benefit Roller Lash. I also like the Bad Girl Bang, I believe it's called, the Bad Gal Bang mascara. But for today, I'm gonna use the one that I have been using a lot, which is this Lancome one. I also apply mascara to my lower lash line. Next, I go in and apply some powder brush. This is definitely my go-to powder brush. This is from the Dior. This is the Backstage in the Rosy Glow. This is for sure one of my favorites and my go-to. Kind of just like put it everywhere after. Next, I will apply some powder highlighter. Sometimes even after I do all my makeup, I'll even do a liquid highlighter or something, but for the most part I kind of like to finish it with a nice little powder highlighter. My favorite was the Persona in the Zuma, already discontinued. I also really like the highlighter that comes in this like Pat McGrath palette. It was one of those that recently came out. I think I got this, was it last year during the Sephora sale? A really pretty highlighter in there too, but this is pretty much the one that I've been using a lot lately. And I kind of just apply it to the regular areas where you would add some highlighter. So now for the lips, I try to use lip liner. I don't always do it though. It's not something that I always, you know, take that extra step to do. But if I do, it will most likely be these from Huda Beauty. This is the Lip Contour 2.0, and I have Sandy Beige and Muted Pink. I think those are like the most beautiful and perfect lip liner colors. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the Muted Pink just to add a little bit of definition to my lips. This would be like a very common go-to combination for me, a combo. For lipsticks, I'm really loving this one from Tom Ford. It's just this particular shade. This was in the color Pink Dust. This is a really good one. It's a little fancy because it's Tom Ford and they're not cheap. Also really love these from the brand Merit. These are some of my newer type of lipsticks. I love these brown type of looks, that little 90s vibe. And this one, I believe the name is 1990, and also have the one called Baby, which is like a pinky type of nude. But I feel like my favorite type of lipsticks are Charlotte Tilbury's lipsticks. This one is called the Dance Floor Princess is one of them, but a lot of her lipsticks are really, really good. So this is the one I'm gonna be using today. I think this one is just a really pretty pinky nude color. It's perfect. So this is the one that is definitely one of my go-to lipsticks. I am also really into lip glosses. I love glossy lips. If I have to pick a go-to style For lips, it will definitely be glossy ones. And some of my favorites are these Dior. The lip oils are the best. This is my favorite one. The berry color, this is the one that I use the most. It is so good. I also really like this line from Pat McGrath. I even have one that's like blue. This one is gold, but it doesn't look so crazy and funky. It just looks so pretty over any color. It gives you that nice glowy, shimmery, shiny lip. Of course, love the pink. And you know, the Fenty ones, the Fenty Beauty, the gloss bombs, these are so good. I love the Diamond Milk and I like the Fussy one. Those are my two favorite ones. These are the best. I find that the ones that I use the most right now are my lip oils. I just like to add a nice gloss over any lipstick. It's very rare that I'm just gonna apply lipstick like this and just go. So I do like to apply a gloss, and I feel like a pinky gloss like this just looks so pretty over a nude pink. So this is definitely my go-to type of makeup look, whether it's for the daytime or the evening. And I know it's so many steps and so many products, but I still find that even though I use more steps than before, my makeup just looks a lot more natural because it's different products, but it's not too much of those products. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I will make sure to list everything I mentioned in the description box down below, including those products that I suggested as extras, as my go-tos, just in case you guys want to check them out, and the colors. I hope that you guys had a lot of fun watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel before you go, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.